Okay, I'm all set up, ready to draw Timon from The Lion King. Now I have this border which is 8 inches wide, 5.5 inches tall. Got my title, got my name, my reference point, and I'm ready to draw. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to put in this line of action. And the line of action, I'm going to look at 3 locations to find it, so here I go. So I want to look at my reference point, and I want to see about how far away from it my line of action is, and I think it's somewhere about there. Alright, then I'm just going to go ahead and take that upwards, just kind of in a gentle curve like this. I'll put a little bit of a curve into it. I'm thinking up here, something about like that, touching my border as you can see. Now as it comes down, one thing I want to notice, if I came down straight from my reference point, it's going to be pushed over just a little bit to the right. So I'm going to draw that in, and I'm going to bring it down, put just a little bit of a curve into it, and I'm thinking something like that. So this will kind of give me a line of action, as you can see. Now, as I have discussed many times before, the most important thing is to get your first shape correct. So what I want to do is I want to sketch in a location for that circle. Now, most beginning students just draw a circle and then they try to figure out why it's wrong. But instead, what I want to do is I want to mark some spots, see if I can locate it, then I'll draw it in. Okay, so what I want to do, I'll start here at the top. I'm going to come down my line of action, and I'm going to ask myself how much negative space is there from the top of my circle to my border. And I'm thinking of a spot, something like that. Okay. Down here at the bottom, I'll come up my line of action, and I'm going to put a mark, maybe something, maybe about right here. That looks about right. Okay, now it's critical over here on this left side. I've got to leave enough room for his snout and his nose. So when I'm coming in towards the right, I'm looking, and I'm thinking of a spot that's about right in here, maybe about right there. Okay, and that will give me the side of the circle that's on the left. Okay, now over here, I'm going to let my reference point help me. And I'm going to ask myself, okay, how far away is it from my reference point? Maybe here. Okay, something like this. And then if I take a look at my negative space, I've got to leave room for the back of his head, and I'm thinking that that looks also just about right. Okay, so a lot of students think I go too slow at the beginning, but I think if I take my time at the beginning, it'll turn out good for me. Alright, so I've got this square, rectangular type of shape here, and what I want to do then is draw some type of oval or circle that touches the 4 sides of it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sketch this in. I'll start here at the top. I'll curve downward. I'll hit my mark over there, as you can see, and I'll continue going towards the bottom. Hitting my mark there. That's looking pretty good. And of course, at this stage, I want to work light, loose, sketchy, kind of messy. All of that is just fine. And then coming over here, I'll hit the side of it here on the right, bring it up, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay, so that gives me this nice oval to represent kind of his skull area for Timon. If I take a look and see how my line of action kind of divides it, I can look at half of it right here, feeling pretty good about it. The other half also, feeling good about that. Okay, so I feel really good about my first shape, and I think I'm ready to move on. Okay, I'm going to sketch in another curving line here that's going to show me the center of his face. So I'm going to start right here, and it's going to just curve, and this will show me the center of his face, because obviously his face is tilted, and I want that to be somewhere about there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, now he's got this interesting shape that is for his snout and kind of the back of his cheek, so I want to work on that. And I'm going to put in a couple marks. First of all, it goes kind of right through my reference point, so I kind of know where that is. So if I put a little mark here, and then from my reference point I'll go up, and I'll just stop right there when I hit the side of my circle for a moment. Okay, then coming downward, and then I'll curve it up, and I'll stop once again when I hit the side of my circle. I'm thinking something like that. So I've got this nice, fun, curving line coming across my circle. Okay, now I want to let my negative space help me, so over here, I'm going to mark my negative space, and I'm thinking of a spot, obviously, close to my left border. So I'll put a spot right there, and that's a spot for me to go to. So as I continue this line, it's going upward, and I'll get it kind of curving, and I'll bring it out over here, and I'll stop right there when I hit my mark. Alright, I like that line, that looks good. Okay, then I'm going to come down here to the bottom of my circle, and what I want to notice is that it continues going downward, and then it's going to curve up like this, and sometimes I just like to have my pencil go in that motion, barely letting my pencil touch my paper to kind of guide me as I draw that. And I'll go over that just a little bit more, and I'm thinking something like this. That looks really good to me. Nice curving shape. And once again, I want it to go downward and be a little bit lower like this than the bottom of my circle. Okay, I think I need to bend that down just a little bit more, so I'm just going to adjust that just a little bit, something like that. And never be afraid to make an adjustment on your drawing at the beginning. It's a better time to do it instead of later, which causes more frustration. Alright, now let's continue that shape. So now of course I'm going upward in this direction here, like this. That looks about right to me. And then I'm going to curve it off the back of that shape. It's going to curve that around. You kind of see the motion. And I want to keep that nice curve as I come up like this. And I think that looks pretty good. I'll make it just a little bit more, a little bit bigger, out to the right just a little bit. Okay, so I've got this nice shape right there. Okay, now while we're down here, let's go ahead and finish off that neck. And I just want to look at the neck. I want to compare it to my line of action. And I'll just bring that down right there. That looks good. Okay, and then the other side of his neck, I want to see where that touches. Maybe about right here. And I'll get this going this direction. And then curving downward, and I'll just bring that down right there. Now, while I'm here, I can go ahead and put in just the top of his shoulder, and I'll just mark that. I'll just draw it right here. I know where I'm going, super easy. I'm going right to the corner of my border, so I'll just draw that in like that. Okay. Now one more shape to do. I don't really know what it is, but it's something coming off the back of his head. Alright, so let's take a look at it. I want it to be over here. about this close to my right border. So once again, mark my negative space so I know where I'm going to. It's going to start right here near to where the neck connects, so about right there. And I'll just kind of bring that down in this direction here. Curve it a little bit. Bring it over like that. Now, when I finish the top of it, I've got to really notice for myself is how close it is to this shape here of the back of his mouth, his cheek, whatever this is. So I want to make sure I've got it about this close. Okay, so I'm just going to come off the back of his head. It's a little bit of a curved shape to it, and I'll come over, drawing towards my negative space mark. I'll hit that, that's about right there, and I'll just bring that down and connect it right there, like that. Okay, and that's about it. Got some nice, simplified shapes for drawing of Timon. It fills up my space. I like the negative space above his head. It's going to be important. We're going to put some hair up here later. Negative space here to the left. Looks about right down here as well. Got some good negative space here to the right. And at this point, I would be ready to jump in to the very fun details of Timon from The Lion King.